Based on a lot of different reports over the last couple of days, it seems very clear that ICE has come to Lawrence, Kansas. Well, that's where I'm running for Congress. My name is Colin McRoberts. I'm a Democrat running for Congress in the 1st District of Kansas. The 1st District is mostly the western half of the state, red, rural areas, and includes Lawrence through an act of gerrymandering. So unsurprisingly, ICE has come to the 1st District, and unsurprisingly, they started in the blue college town instead of the more rural areas. A lot of people in those rural areas, a lot of red Kansans are wondering, well, why is this a problem? ICE is law enforcement is good. This is something people should be not too upset about. So I want to speak specifically to those people who don't understand why a lot of Lawrencians, a lot of your neighbors, are really concerned about this. And it shouldn't be that hard to understand because we all care about the rights of Americans. And what ICE has been doing over the last couple of months is violating the rights of Americans on a huge scale. I've got some other videos about this, some postings on the website, things like that, and I'll do more content about it in the next few days because it's really important to explain this clearly. ICE has been violating people's 4th, 5th Amendment rights openly, including American citizens, by entering homes without a valid judicial warrant, by using excessive force, like, for example, people shot to death in Minneapolis. There's tons of examples of ICE behaving inappropriately, because frankly, it's an agency that has way more money than it needs to do its actual job and way too little supervision and oversight because they're being trusted and asked essentially to violate people's rights to create an issue because the administration wants headlines more than it wants real law enforcement. So I thought for a second I'd talk about what you do if you are encountering police officers or ICE in the context of one of these immigration enforcement actions. If you are stopped by police or any other law enforcement, don't argue, don't fight. Even if you're innocent and even if your rights are being violated. Keep your hands where they can be seen. ICE agents have seen now that if they gun down an American in the street, their bosses will call the victim a terrorist and refuse to investigate. Don't be a martyr. Ask the officer if you're free to leave. If they say yes, walk or drive away calmly. If you're under arrest, ask why. And that's it. You have the right to remain silent. It exists for a reason. Exercise it. You have to say so out loud or they can continue to question you. There are a couple of important exceptions to your right to remain silent. In Kansas, you can be required to identify yourself, state your business, and give your address if the officer reasonably believes you're committing, have just committed, or are about to commit a crime. Well, what if the belief isn't reasonable? You don't get to argue that with them on the scene. So if you can't or won't answer those questions, be prepared to be detained. The other major exception is that if you're a documented immigrant or on a non-immigrant visa, you may be required to show your documentation. Know the requirements for your specific documentation. The cops can frisk you if they think you have a weapon, or otherwise, you don't have to consent to a search. If they want to search you, ask whether you're allowed to refuse. State that you refuse consent, but do not fight it if they search you anyway. If you think you may be arrested, and if you're going to be documenting ICE or protesting, that is a very real possibility. Prepare for that. So understand that the first thing you should do is state your intent to remain silent. Ask for a lawyer immediately. If you're arrested by ICE, you may not have the right to a free lawyer, but you can still talk to one. Memorize your family's phone number, the number of a lawyer, and if you're an immigrant, the number of your consulate, and give your family your A number so they can locate you more easily. Our rights don't exist if we don't stand up for them, even if you're innocent. Even if you've done nothing wrong, stand up for your rights. Insist on your right to remain silent. Insist on your right not to be detained or searched without probable cause or a warrant. If you aren't sure what your rights are, we'll put some content in the links in the comments to the ACLU and other sources that are very good at helping you understand what those rights actually are. We're Americans. We're here for a reason. We're going to stand up for ourselves, for our rights, for our neighbors. Thank you very much. Be safe. God bless.